Not getting much light today because there's no sun.
No. Still looks good, though.
Looks all right with the table. Yeah.
Looks really good with the table.
I'm laid out on the table while they're making their plans.
What are you, a cat?
I'm the one lord who partied too hard on Dragonstone.
Well, I gotta put my piece down here, but Lord Gary's in the way. I guess I'll just say it on his face. Oh,
it's all down in the table. How the fuck are we gonna get that out?
Oh god.
Oh, it's all down in the rivers. They're rivers of puke.
If you think this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention.
Welcome back to the Throne of the Dragon podcast, the show that covers each and every episode of HBO's House of the Dragon. I'm Josh.
And I'm Curtis.
And we're back for the last one, episode 10, The Black Queen.
I'm excited, but I'm also sad.
It's a very bittersweet ending.
It's a bittersweet ending, and it sucks because I think I texted you this too. It's like my final thoughts afterwards was, great, now I gotta wait 2 years to see this saga continue. That's just grand. Thanks a lot, HBO.
It's in holding with the Game of Thrones tradition to leave you feeling one of a few different ways at the very end of a season. Feeling, oh shit, it's about to go down, or feeling, oh my god, or feeling, what? Well, what the fuck?
What was that?
Yeah. One of the biggest ones I saw posted over the last few days was like people saying, oh, Game of Thrones never ended like a season like this. And then somebody just posted a picture of Jon Snow like dead in the snow. It's like, yeah, they left you that massive cliffhanger making you think that Jon is dead at the end of, like he is dead. He's dead. He's dead lying there in the snow.
Right.
And then, that was how the season ended.
They probably stopped watching before that season ended.
What's even more of like a kick in the junk is like, that's how the books end right now. Like there's no further material like published other than like, that's where it ends. It ends where Jon dies. And so like,
so they made up everything after that.
Well, ish. Yeah. I mean, he gave them some guidelines to go by, like just like a plot point, like here or there.
Yeah.
Because I do think Bran will be king, like in the end of the books. But that was one thing that like the show threw out that everybody was like, what the fuck? Like in the book, though, it makes sense because he has, like, if you follow the clues, like he has the very first chapter in the book. And arguably, like the story is kind of about Bran. There's like other parts of the story is about other people, but like you could say ultimately that the entire thing is about Bran.
The whole Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Because it's complicated, but like he becomes the three-eyed raven, and that means like he is the world's memory, and he can like kind of affect things that happen in the past. It's a lot. We don't have to get into all that. One thing from the episode though that I thought was kind of cool, and it's leaning me more and more towards kind of wondering about this. I may have talked to you before about a character in the history of Westeros called Bloodraven.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Okay, his name is Brendan Rivers. He's a Targaryen bastard. He's from the Riverlands. That's why his last name is Rivers. I don't know if I've ever explained that to you. Like all the bastard names, they're different in each region of the continent. So, but that's how you identify people as bastards. So Jon Snow, Snow is the bastard name for the North.
Okay.
Storm is the bastard name for the Stormlands.
Rivers for Riverland.
Yeah, Rivers for Riverlands. I think Flowers is the one for the Reach, and then Sand is the one for Dorne.
Okay.
So, but Bloodraven, he has a very similar look to Aemond. Like, he also lost his left eye.
Okay.
To an attack by one of the other Targaryen bastards, Bittersteel, during one of the Blackfire rebellions.
Okay.
And they just have a very similar look, like, and kind of a similar personality. And it makes me wonder, like, Bloodraven was really into a lot of the mystical stuff, a lot of the magic and dark magic and stuff.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder if Aemon's going to kind of tread down that way too. His eye looks crazy, and it makes me think of like Bloodraven's eye.
Maybe so. Yeah, maybe so, man.
I don't know. I just feel like it's leaning into that just a little bit. So I'm interested to see what happens with Aemon down the road.
Yeah. Question for you, Josh.
Shall we begin?
We shall. What were a couple things that kind of stood out to you in the episode? Not major plot points necessarily, but some stuff like the painted table that
I was going to say, let's start with the table.
Whoa.
Let's start with the table, bro. I mean, that's just a sick table. And the way they introduced it was sick because I didn't know what was going on at first. You know, they're lighting the candles and then they're shoving the little deal down underneath. And then all of a sudden it was just like, then you get that overhead shot, like the picture behind you, just like the fire like spreading throughout the map. Dude, that's just so sick.
It made me think of the promo they did for Rings of Power.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that one where they poured like
I don't remember. Oh, well, no, go ahead.
They poured like molten steel like through that carved out like mold. Basically, it's a practical effect.
Yeah,
they poured it through there.
I mean,
so
I don't
it looked
remember
like
that
lava running through like the title of the show.
Oh, no, I don't remember that. I'll have to go back and look at that though.
It was just a promotional deal before the show started airing.
Yeah. But yeah, the table was sick. Probably one of the better parts of the episode, if not the best part, maybe.
It was one of the parts I was the most hyped for sure.
Yeah, I would definitely say I was hyped for it. I could have done without the childbirth part. Ugh.
Man,
God,
and just when I thought that was going to be the roughest part of the episode, I didn't think I could feel worse during the episode after that, but then they give it to you.
You talking about the ending?
God, yes.
Yeah. What was did they say what that child's name was going to be?
Her unborn kid?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I couldn't remember if they said something to Viserys when they saw him a couple episodes ago with the kids.
Maybe
if they said a name or not. Anyway, I don't know, because I wondered if there was like some symbolism within all of that stuff happening, because Rhaenys comes in and tells her, your dad's dead, and of course, they're both getting pretty pissed about it, Daemon and Rhaenyra. Then it's like she's starting to have pains, and they're getting worse and worse and worse as the conversation goes on. And then she goes through the whole stillbirth thing, basically. So I didn't know maybe if there was some stuff going on there, but
it was a daughter.
It was a daughter. Okay.
Yeah, she was going to be named for one of the Conqueror's sisters, Visenya.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just kind of wonder if there was maybe some symbolism there or not. Yeah, you got to bring it back up. Once per episode, man. Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah,
do it. So, which it's I don't know. It feels like it doesn't feel. I mean, I think we talked about it before. It doesn't really feel like it's just like, hey, we're just throwing this out here. just, hey, it's a callback, I mean, it has purpose. It
Yeah.
just, sometimes it does kind of feel like it's how many times you got to say this?
Yeah.
We get it. The other thing too that I thought of was the way that Daemon handles all of this. Once they get the news of Viserys' death, I mean, he's just on a rampage, dude. He's got fire in his eyes and he's just ready to strike from the get-go there. And, kind of there seems to be a kind of like a back and forth. I don't want to call it back and forth, but I mean, it's almost, I mean, she's the queen, they make that known, especially when they crown her and everything. But it's like that one point when they're standing around the table, she's got the crown on, they're looking at the table, they're putting their pieces in, they're, figuring out who their allies are, who they need to talk to, sway to their side, yada, yada, yada. And, Damon's just telling them, well, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and it just, I don't know. I almost kind of wonder if like he's kind of bitter too, that again, it's like at the very beginning was the first episode, he was Viserys' succession if he died before Daemon. And so I still think there's some hatred of, that throne was mine. And even on top of that, when he talks to Rhaenyra about, they're threatening your succession, they've stolen the throne away from you. It's like, are you not mad about that? Because like, obviously I am, it's not me, but Daemon saying that. And I almost feel like he's taking it personally, like they stole his throne too. Like he was still going to be crowned king.
There's a weird power dynamic here between the two of them.
Well, he's got a lot of pent up rage too, and he's really letting it go, man.
Yeah. So there is kind of a power struggle. Like I said, there's a power struggle. You can see these looks like between the two of them constantly as they're having these conversations with everybody, about how they're going to handle this. And just kind of in connection with that, I wanted to go back, you're talking about the Song of Ice and Fire. I do feel like they used it as a good reason why Rhaenyra feels like she has to do what she's doing, because in her eyes, it's like she's saying, I've been charged to hold the realm together, so that we can face the coming night. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Yeah. I said yes.
So, that's her motivation for wanting to try to keep the peace, trying to find a way to make this work without, war. But then there's the other side of the coin, which is Daemon, who is more of a realist and has been to war and knows like how this all goes,
Well, you gotta, I mean, it's like the war's coming. I mean, there's no doubt about that. So it's like he's thinking, we gotta strike first. We gotta go. Time is of the essence when you're, at war, basically. And especially when you're sitting there and we're trying to figure out who's our allies and who's not, and who do we need to go talk to,
Yeah.
So, because you had to think in the back of their minds, they already knew that the Greens would be doing the same thing,
Yeah.
So
it is odd to me that, just kind of a random thing, but it was weird to me that it was like 3 smaller houses that were the ones who were like immediately like, yeah, we'll declare for you, but it's the big ones with the biggest armies who have like the most pull, who they got to go to and be like, hey, like, you're still with me, right? Like, what are we gonna have to do to make sure you're still with me?
but
like
listen to what But listen to what you just said though about the bigger houses that have the armies. They know they have a big house. They know they have a big army, and so maybe some of them are saying, "Well, let's just see what some people have to offer here," because they know we have the manpower. They're going
For
to need
sure.
it.
I get, yeah, I guess what
I don't.
saying
Yeah,
is like,
I don't understand. I mean, I'm with you too with the smaller houses because it's like if you choose the wrong side, the other side could obliterate you easily.
yeah, that's exactly my thought. Is like
Yeah.
those little houses don't have the numbers to defend themselves
Right.
if the Greens just come straight at them.
Right.
So yeah, but it's houses
Yeah.
Darklin, Massey, and Bar Emin.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's interesting that's a good point.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Great
just thought
point,
that was
Josh. Great
interesting.
point.
I mean, maybe it's just because they don't have as much. They don't have as much to offer, but they also don't have as much to lose. So maybe that's why they want, to jump on quick. Like we're the first ones to be on your side.
Yeah. I wonder how far away are those
They're all pretty close.
houses?
I think they're all like right along the coast there by Dragonstone, like on
okay.
Westeros. Yeah,
Okay.
because Dragonstone is just like not too far off the coast.
Of King's
Westeros.
Landing or Westeros. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not that far from King's Landing. I didn't like the matchup. I really think she should have sent Lucerys to talk with the Starks and the Aarons. They're a little bit more honorable and a little bit more trustworthy,
Right?
More reliable.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. I was like, why would you ever trust a Baratheon, bro? I don't know. Again, I haven't seen Game of Thrones. I've seen bits and pieces here and there, but it's like, I know enough. Just like, why would you ever trust a Baratheon?
Yeah. They are reckless. It's not, it's not as bad as like, you can't trust a Frey, but not to that extent. They're not like just backstabbers or anything. I mean, because he also like, he wasn't like, yeah, Aemon, get him,
Get him, Aemon, get him.
Like, he's like, no, like he came here as a messenger. Like, you're not gonna kill him in my hall here,
Right.
And
I feel like the reason why she sent him though to Storm's Landing is because it's closer than correct or yeah. What did I say? Storm's Landing.
Yeah.
My bad. Storm's.
Well, it's just named Storm's End because many castles were built like on that spot, and the last one that finally like withstood all these crazy storms that happened there constantly was called Storm's End.
Oh, okay, gotcha. But she made it sound like it was closer than the other ones that Jaceres was going to be going to. And so, because we had this at the beginning of the episode, you have that whole conversation between her and Lucerys about, he doesn't want Driftmark and he feels like he'll just screw it up. He's not perfect like her, which, obviously we know. And she tells him too, is like, I'm not perfect. Way, 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 way off. Not perfect at all. But yeah, I just kind of feel like she's just trying to make it easier on him, try to, gently push him into this new role that he's going to have to, get used to doing, because I mean, that's even if you're going to be, Lord of Driftmark, I mean, it's like, you're going to have to grow up and you're going to have to do some things that you aren't comfortable doing, you don't want to do. And if it's going to take baby steps, then I guess let's go ahead and do baby steps. And here's a baby step for you.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
again,
war is coming. She's got to push him out the door, like she got to kick him out the nest.
Right. But again, I think you had to think that the Greens were already, on their way to different places, especially since they had already talked to Otto by that point, because he had come and he had already told him, with the Starks, did he say Baratheons too?
Yeah, the Starks, the Baratheons, and the Tullys, I think. I don't even know if he said the Aarons then.
Yeah. Were given offers and they were already thinking about them and everything. So, which made me wonder, I wanted to ask you too, because you had said I think several episodes ago, we were talking about, the future of the series and the war and everything. And I think you're actually talking about who all pledged to Rhaenyra when she was named the succession. And Starks were one of them, weren't they?
Yep.
And I remember you saying something about Starks were pretty well known for keeping their oath. So that was kind of interesting to me that, and who knows, it's Otto too, so he may be lying about it. I don't know.
Well, I'm sure they received a raven from them,
Right.
I don't think they're really mulling it over,
I don't know. Yeah.
Like it's like her maester said, like there's never been a Stark that lived who didn't remember his oath.
Right. Well, and
Like,
that's why I was wondering too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's one of the things that so Starks have like a really interesting story in the North. They're one of the oldest houses in the North. And while they weren't always the biggest, they had a reputation as warriors and as like the good guys.
right.
Like they would come in and help like these smaller houses. Like they warred with another big house in the North, the Boltons, for
Mhm.
a long time, like hundreds of years.
Hey man, Battles of the Bastards.
Yeah, hundreds of years. And they'd like beat them into submission, and then they would swear fealty again. And then at some point, like another war would arise between them.
Right.
So like in the time of Game of Thrones, we're in like a peacetime between them. But, like kind of as Roose Bolton is like scheming the whole time.
Yeah.
So there's always been bad blood there. But yeah, the Starks are really revered in the North, and they are the house that leads the North. They're the wardens of the North. All the banners in the North swear to the Starks. And so, yeah, that's what he was saying. Like there hasn't been a Stark that lived who forgot his oath, and with them comes the entire North.
Right.
So,
okay.
And all the houses in the North put together are a pretty massive force. It's nothing like insane, but I want to say they have like, somewhere from like maybe 30,000 to 50,000, maybe.
Yeah.
And they have like the North and the Neck is usually with them too. Plus, like, so as you're coming south, it's like all of these people are known to be allies with each other in all these past wars. So like the North, the Neck, the Riverlands, the Vale, and all four of these places make up almost half of Westeros. So when those are in unison, like it's really a scary thing for the South,
Yeah.
There's also been wars too, where like the Stormlands are with them, where the Reach is with them. So that's like that's most of the continent, So it's a problem. Like it's a trickle down from the North, and there's all these like important bloodlines that like run between all these different families in these different areas. It's like Rhaenyra was saying, like you've got Baratheon blood, and we also share blood with the Aarons because my mom was an Aaron. So
yeah, that was interesting that well, that's not even true. Well, no, it is. Yeah, never mind. No, it is. Never mind. Yeah, it was interesting because she said Rhaenys had Baratheon blood.
Oh yeah, she says you've got Baratheon blood from your grandmother Rhaenys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lie.
Lies.
Yeah. But I also don't know what the Strong's connection is, like where
True. Yeah.
Where
their bloodline is.
Yeah. So I mean he could easily have Baratheon blood.
Let me ask you something. Now we got the callback scene to it's either the first or second episode of the series or this season. At Dragonstone, when they meet up on, the entrance deal. And I get like, bridge fight number 2. And I get like Rhaenyra, and maybe it's, kind of symbolic again to that first time we were on the bridge. But Rhaenyra, flies in on the dragon and lands behind Otto and his men. And I thought that was like really weird because it's like, I got to cross through these guys. And at any time they could have killed me. You
I think
know?
it was like a power move.
You think it was a power move? Okay.
Yeah, because she flew in on Cyrax. She lands behind them, cutting off their retreat,
Right. And I
and
get that
then
too.
walks
Yeah.
right through the middle of them,
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
it's a power move, but isn't that also how it happened in that episode
Yeah.
where she came to Dragonstone?
She landed behind them and walked through them. Of course, she was
Okay.
on their side. She was with them at that time.
Yeah.
Obviously. And that's why I was kind of like, oh, it's kind of this is reminiscent because Damon's on the same side he was before, and she's walking through the crowd like she did last time. Except this time she's not with Otto. She's with Daemon.
Yeah. Might have been some symbolism, yeah, for sure.
Maybe so.
Like a
How
callback.
times have changed.
They've definitely changed.
Yeah, it was interesting. What was there was something else I was gonna say. Oh crap. Oh, the part there was a part I thought was kind of funny. When she's talking to when Rhaenyra is talking to Jacaerys and Lucerys before she sends them out. And maybe you can tell me what she gave Jacaerys something. I don't know what it was though, after they swore, on the book, and um she handed him something because she said something about she was talking about the Starks and all these where he was going. They're men about your age, so I hope that you would find some common ground, being men and everything like that. And she handed him something, and all I could think of was when she said that, I felt like she was handing him like index cards, like here's some talking points to get the conversation started.
I don't know. It almost to me looked like one of those little medieval bags of gold that,
Maybe
are
so,
always
yeah.
getting tossed around in those. It sounds so sweet when it hits your hand as you catch it.
Shink.
Yeah. I know he's a terrible piece of shit, but Louis C.K. used to have that hilarious bit about the little guys in those medieval movies who are always like doing some dirty deed for a lord for a bag of coins that has like no, like it's never like a number is never discussed, it's
Right,
always just
yeah.
like some little bag of coins.
Could be one coin with a bunch of rocks just rocking around in there making that noise.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's funny.
but it always sounds so good. The bag of coins always it's a very satisfying sound.
Right. The other thing, I wanted to go back and say this before we went on, but we went on, so let me go back now and say it. We're talking about Song of Ice and Fire. She brought that up to Daemon. Do you feel like, I mean, I know what he said about Viserys and his omens and whatnot, but do you think that he was kind of like, I don't want to say jealous that he told her and not him, even though he was, in succession for a long time there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or do you just
yeah,
think
I
he's
think
just
so.
like, or do you think he's just still kind of like staying the course of like, you can't stay at peace at this time because they're going to come for you. They're coming for us,
I think it's both. I don't think he ever told Damon that.
No, he didn't.
And
She made it clear that he didn't. I mean,
yeah,
well, he made it clear that he didn't
I think he's
by his reaction.
probably, yeah, that probably hurt him a little bit that he the Viserys told her some big important thing that he'd never said to Damon.
Right.
But also I think it's, what you were saying that like he's trying to push her towards like this war has started,
Yeah, it's already started.
What are we going to do about this?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's both. I think it's a little bit of both.
What do you think about the return of Corlys Valerian?
I figured this would happen at some point because Game of Thrones is pretty explicit, and like if you don't see somebody die,
they're not dead. Yeah,
they're not dead.
Okay.
So
I don't remember seeing a body of Lucerys, so maybe he's alive.
They did go pretty quickly from like him being super pissed about Vaemon being killed, and they keep referring back to like, Rhaenyra and Daemon killing
their son.
Yeah.
What is his name? I can't remember.
Uh,
There's too many names, man. There are way too many names. Rhaenyra. There you go.
It helps if you can remember just one of the siblings in a family, and then it's easier to remember all of them because
Just
you've
kinda
got
connect.
you got Lena and Laenor, you got
Yeah.
Aemon and Aegon, like
Yeah.
and Helena. So it's
Helena. Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of interesting. But I will say too, with the Vayman thing, he did make the comment that what did he say exactly? I'm trying to remember what he said. It's like the thirst for the throne or something like that is
it's like the
Valyrian
thirst
blood.
for it's basically like the thirst for glory has always been like a curse of our house,
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And I don't even
So it's
think
almost
he
like
was
I must say I don't really feel like he was like mad about it. He was kind of like, yeah, it was a matter of time.
well, and then it's like right after that she tells him that it wasn't Viserys who called for his head when that happened. It was Daemon who took it, And so he does get pretty pissed about that. And he's aggravated that Daemon's not there for him to talk to,
True. Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like Corlys and Rhaenys is like really kind of flipped there,
Yeah.
You're getting kind of mixed vibes from them early in the episode, and then all of a sudden he's like, we're with you. I think it's even though the kids aren't really Laenor's,
Right.
they still like love them like they are.
Is it that though, or is it because their granddaughters are marrying them?
I mean, I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's part of it.
Probably so. I did find it interesting though. I mean,
she mentions Joffrey too. She doesn't just mention Jace and Luke.
True.
She mentions Joffrey too.
True.
He's so tiny.
She never once bows though or kneels in the whole episode to her.
I know. I did think that was kind of weird.
Well, I don't know. I mean, with the whole, I still think though, in the back of your mind, you still keep the whole thing of, you killed my son, and then Daemon with their daughter, although everything that happened with that. I don't know. Yeah, I did find it interesting though. I did catch that. I did catch it.
Well, and I do think there's a respect between them.
I think right now all they really have is just respect. There's no, I don't know. But it's weird because then it's like you said, they pledged the fleet and Driftmark to them. So what is this thing we got between us?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That'll be interesting to see what happens with Driftmark and the sea snakes army in the future. If they stay the course.
There's still 2 dragons on Driftmark, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Was there? I thought it was just one. I thought Daemon just said one.
There's Sea Smoke, which was Laenor's. And then I think there's one more, right? Or maybe it was 2 with the Dragon Mount.
Yeah, I thought you just said 1 in Driftmark.
Okay, yeah, I can't remember.
What was the dragon that was in the cave that he was getting the egg from? Which one was that?
In the cave he was getting the egg from.
In this episode. When he was singing the High Valyrian song?
He's not getting an egg.
Oh, I think he was getting an egg. No. Okay, he wasn't getting an egg. He was down there though. So what dragon was that?
That is Vermithor. And Vermithor was ridden by King Jaehaerys, the one from the beginning of the series.
Oh, yeah.
He's the second oldest dragon, or she, I think, actually. I can't remember. It's the second oldest dragon in the world. So it's going to be closest in size to Vhagar.
Wonder where was that at, I wonder.
In this place called the Dragon Mount. I think it's on Dragonstone.
Okay. Oh.
It's like a dragon pit type thing.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
He's
We had
been
this
down
dragon
there-
underneath us the whole time.
He's been down there unclaimed like since Jaehaerys.
Okay, gotcha.
So that'll be another thing that'll be really cool to see in these next couple of seasons is the taming of like a lot of these different dragons. So there's not enough Targaryens to ride all these dragons, you know?
Right.
So in Fire and Blood, I believe it's Prince Jacaerys who says that they need more dragon riders. So they start having people like attempt to like bond with the dragons and stuff, like different wild ones. And some people get killed like in the process, but
yeah,
there are certain people who are able to like tame them and ride them and stuff. Some of them are like Targaryen bastards or so.
Okay. Question for you. Would you want to try to tame that dragon that Daemon was trying to tame?
Oh, that one looks crazy as hell. Yeah, and they said its fire burns hot enough that it can melt stone and steel. So
wow. Okay.
yeah. The old ones are like really powerful, you know, like they get
Right.
fucking huge. Their fire just burns like hotter and hotter over the years. So yeah, this is a big move for them.
Man.
And it's like Daemon says in that one scene, they have what, 14 to their 3 or 4?
Something like that. I mean, it's a big number.
Yeah. And he said he had a score of eggs in the incubator. A score. If he meant a literal score, that's 100. Like,
dude.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure a score is 100.
We're about to find out. We're going to learn today. Yeah, that's interesting. But at the same time, that's
stupid.
Well, we already knew that.
It's 20. It's 20.
That's still a lot, though, man.
That is a lot of eggs.
That's still a lot of dragon eggs. Now, whether all of them would hatch or not, yeah. Because they talked about that too before about, some of them just turned to stone and anyway.
Even if like 5 of them did, though, even if like a 4th of them, like they would almost outnumber the greens like 4 or 5 to 1.
Right. But they bring that up as a talking point of like the one guy at the table brings it up when they're talking about armies and manpower and everything like that, and he says, have we forgotten that we have the greatest power known to man, and it's dragons? And then that's when they start naming off who they have, and then we have all these ones, and then there's all these ones that are unclaimed and riderless. But she makes a good point too of it's like Viserys told me about wars where dragons were used, and it's just like there's nothing left. It's almost like a nuclear bomb, like using a nuclear bomb. It's like there's nothing left. Why would I want to rule over dust and ash?
Yeah.
And bones.
That's the thing at the end of towards the end of Game of Thrones is like she completely just like burns King's Landing to the ground.
Right.
Like that's what happens, like it's like watching it happen. It's like you said, it's like watching a nuclear bomb. Like people are just disintegrated like instantly, and it's a massive thing.
Right. You got to be in a weird mindset to do that, because it's like there's just no way there's no way to inhabit that land afterwards. I mean, why would you want that? And then again, she's got the whole deal of trying to keep peace and for the future prophecy of a Song of Ice and Fire and stuff like that. And it's a mess. She's got a lot on her plate right now, man. A lot to think about. I don't think after the episode ended though, she's got much to really decide on. I think she's gonna know what to do.
Yeah. And it says, if you're watching it with the closed captions on, during that part, it says vengeful music playing.
Yeah.
Like as she's turning around, But she has this like look on her face that was very reminiscent of like when Dany broke in Game of Thrones. Like when she broke, then it was just like,
Oh hell.
there's a saying in Westeros that every time a Targaryen is born, the gods flip a coin, because there are sane Targaryens who are peaceful and like Viserys, and then there's ones like the Mad King who were just completely insane.
Right.
And so, there's a flip. There's a switch that can be flipped.
Man.
And I think for Rhaenyra, it's been flipped at the end of this episode.
Yeah. Let's talk about that ending real quick. The Aemond and Lucerys dragon fight. Not really a fight, but
before we get there, I wanted to say that because it kind of starts with Storm's End,
Right. Yeah.
That was another scene that I was super stoked on because we never get to see Storm's End in Game of Thrones. Like you see,
let me ask you a question
interior and the beach, but you never get to see that.
That's where she was at the beginning of that one episode, right? When she was doing her tour okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. And that would be his dad.
Yes.
That she was with. Okay.
And that's another thing I wanted to bring up earlier when we were talking about her talking to the boys before they, flew off. Now we're like I was saying before, now we're dealing with the sons of a lot of these guys who swore to her in the beginning,
Yep.
They were all middle-aged men when they swore to her when she was like 14 years old,
Right.
So now that she's like 30 or whatever, a lot of these guys are dead. So
right. Yeah.
So now we're dealing with the sons, we're dealing with Boros Baratheon, and instead of was it Horus? No, it wasn't Horus. I can't remember who his dad was.
Was it not Horus?
No, I think he was Borman, and then his son is Boros.
Okay.
And then Cregan, or not Cregan Stark, Rickon Stark, or Rickard, god damn it, was the one who swore to Rhaenyra, and his son is Cregan, who is now Lord of Winterfell.
Right.
So,
yeah, different mentality, different people. I mean, they're not gonna carry on what the oaths that their father swore, I mean, they're gonna make their own oaths.
Yeah. Some of them will. Some of them will honor the oaths of their house.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but some of them won't, like Borman here, or Boros.
Yeah.
But I did that really epic shot of him flying in on Erex, I think.
Yeah,
is his dragon's name.
Erex.
And just that really cool shot. You get to see like the outer courtyards and stuff as it leads up, to the keep. It's just really cool. Storm's End has a lot of cool history, and so it's just neat that we finally get to see that place.
A great shot of Vhagar too. We talked about that from the trailer at the end of the last episode, but dude, that's terrifying.
I like the way they referred to it in the after the episode, where he's like, he pulls up and he gets worried because he sees Vhagar parked in the courtyard. They
parked in the courtyard. Yeah. He parked it, man. That's funny.
But yeah, go ahead. You're talking about Aemond and Lucerys.
Well, I mean, it's weird because you get the whole thing in Storm's. I almost said Storm's Landing again. In Storm's Inn, where he wants him to cut out his eye. I want your eye. I'm gonna give it as a gift to my mother. You're gonna give it to me, and of course they get kicked out basically because I don't want no bloodshed in my house, says the Baratheon. But it's so weird because like Aemon, to me, like ever since he got his eye cut out, he really seems like he'd be okay with just killing somebody. just for whatever reason, But, you kind of get that sense at the very end of that scene where they're both riding their dragons, over each other and whatnot. And you kind of get the feeling that Aemon was more or less just trying to like mess with Lucerys. Of course, Lucerys was the one that wasn't Lucerys the one that cut out his eye or gave him
yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. So, of course, first dig was he calls him Lord Strong before he leaves. And he asked him, to take out his eye and everything like that. But yeah, you kind of get that sense at the end of that scene when they're riding the dragons that wasn't supposed to happen, obviously. And I was just more or less just trying to mess with you and scare you because I know you're scared and you're timid and you're nervous. And so I was just more or less just trying to mess with you. And, it's weird because you could tell too that Lucerys, when he was leaving, he was trying to get Arax to, listen to me, obey me, listen to me. And you could just tell from the get-go there that he was having trouble trying to control his dragon. And obviously he didn't give a command to, breathe fire. But Arax did what he wanted to do. Of course, I'm sure he probably felt threatened, by the bigger dragon, Vhagar and everything like that. And that's when just everything goes off the rails because once, the fire comes out, Vhagar just loses his mind and Aemon loses total control of him. And yeah, that's when he just ends up eating or cutting Arax in half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was going to say earlier, whenever you were talking about, Daemon saying that, like, we have dragons, we can just take them out. Another thing that she says to Daemon there is none of our dragons have been to war,
Right. Yeah.
except for Cyrax, or not Cyrax. I always forget the name of Daemon's. Caraxes,
yeah.
Except for Caraxes. But even that wasn't a dragon on dragon fight,
Right, yeah.
Think of it like, they used to breed war horses, So you couldn't just take like a farm horse out into the middle of a fight and like it be okay.
Yeah, it'd be spooked, man.
It would freak out. It would not be used to any of that. But a war horse, is trained to be okay with all of that.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's a totally
you think that's what
different,
it was?
I mean, it's a totally different thing. Like,
well, I'm just saying, like, are you saying that Arax is the normal horse and Vhagar is the war horse, basically?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. No, that's a good description of it, I feel.
And they, Vhagar has been like to war and has not fought like dragon on dragon, but has been to full scale war.
Right. He knows a threat when he sees it.
Yeah, and it's just like it's a situation that gets out of control, like you were saying, yeah. Aemon is just trying to mess with him, like he's just trying to freak him out and scare him, just trying to intimidate him, and it just goes too far. Like he
loses control.
Yeah, like even if he's not like putting any of this into Vhagar's head, even if like their connection is not being like felt to a degree that it's acting on his behalf,
right,
he's causing it to playfully hunt this smaller dragon,
right.
Arax feels threatened, he is being attacked, and then he fires off first because he's feeling threatened,
So, yeah, defensive, yeah.
Yeah, and then, like you were saying, Aemon loses control of Vhagar because then it's just cat and mouse,
Yeah.
And
forget the riders, it's just us now, yeah.
Yeah, and that scene is so brutal because the two of them both just yelling for them to listen, and not
Yeah.
being able to control it.
Yeah.
And I got to really give it to Ewan Mitchell here, the guy who plays Aemond, because I felt like he was really cheesy the whole episode up until this last scene. Like he's a
Okay.
little too animated in some episodes,
Yeah.
And up until this scene, I was kind of like, he's being a little cheesy in this one. But Ewan Mitchell did a really good job of portraying, how he would feel at the end there. Yeah,
Crap.
the look on his face, like he looks like he's
Oops.
about to just like start crying, or
I think I'm
like,
about to hurl.
yeah, like he's about to just completely fall apart.
Yeah.
But then also as Vhagar comes up and actually like takes the bite and like tears him up and everything, you can hear Aemon the entire time just like no, like yeah, like just so pained, like he can just I mean it's a multi-level thing. He just killed his nephew. And they grew up together, like they were close at one point,
Right. Yeah.
He just kicked off the war that was not officially started yet. He just started a war that's going to cost thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of lives.
Yep.
And then the third thing, which some people I've talked to haven't like really thought about this yet, but he's now a kinslayer, which is a huge faux pas in Westeros also, like killing a member of your family. It's like breaking an oath, like it's going to cause people to look down on you and not trust you forever. And in all the faiths in Westeros, like the faith of the Seven and the old gods, it's an unforgivable crime, like against the gods,
Right.
like one that they curse you for and you're never forgiven for. And a lot of times that we've seen in Game of Thrones and just Westeros history, like that comes back to bite people in the ass. Like that comes back to get them. So
right. I wonder
just something to kind of
how.
watch out for and be looking for.
Yeah. I wonder how they found out though that Jacaerys was dead and Varaxes is
In the book,
Araxes.
His dragon, pieces of his dragon wash up on shore at Storm's End days later.
Maybe that's what it was then.
And they send,
because I mean it was pieces, yeah. Wow. Because we don't know, how many days later it was or anything like that.
I think it said like 3 or something.
Oh, did it?
3 days later that the remains washed up.
No, I mean in the show. That's what I was talking about.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
We don't know how long it was after until Daemon told her.
Yeah, probably just a few days, because they probably sent a raven, which might take like a day.
Yeah, well, it's weird though, because you would think that they would have known something's up. Why? Well, unless maybe they just thought, well, maybe. Because she did say that, the Baratheons would be, what's his name, Boris Baratheon?
Yeah.
Would be, honored to have a prince in his house. Maybe she thought, well, maybe he's getting to stay over. And I don't know. You would think at a certain point you'd be on high alert. It's like, why isn't he not back yet?
Yeah. I mean, I would say that I was going to say that he probably, like, if Aemon had not been there, the storm was so bad that they probably would have just asked him to stay, like until the storm passed.
Right.
But because like that shit started popping off between him and Aemond, like he was like, just get him out of here. Like, I don't want this fight. Just get him out. So
yeah.
Aemond did get out of there really quickly though. Like that was so weird. Like, what did he just like run out the side door as fast as he could? And you know, like I don't know, it was really weird. By the time he gets to the court, like by the time Lucerys gets to the courtyard, Vhagar's already gone.
Yeah.
So
who knows, man?
It's weird.
Well, and who knows how long that, I mean, he could have walked out some like, side door or something like that, the emergency exit, for fires. Whereas Lucerys had to be taken out through the front entrance again. Who knows how far back that is? They had to walk, but I just took the teleportation device to Vagar. Beam me up, Vagar. Yeah. Man, it was a good episode. This is a good series. It was a good season. Again,
really
it
was,
sucks
yeah.
that we got to wait 2 years. I hate
Yeah,
it.
I don't know. It could be sooner. They're set to. It's officially announced that they're set to start filming in January.
Well, and like
So-
I get the fact of like maybe it was a deal of, well, we really kind of want to push off the date, for either production or release date for a second season because we don't even know how the first season is going to go. People may hate it, and we don't even want to, hold people up, actors and actresses, that is, scheduling wise, if the first season's not going to be good and we're not even going to get renewed, But yeah, I don't know. It just sucks.
Well,
Life is not fair.
They hadn't even renewed it for a second season until like a few episodes
Halfway
in.
away. Yeah, yeah.
So,
But you would think at that point they'd be like, "All right, let's go. Let's get the ball rolling as quickly as
Yeah.
possible." Which
yeah.
maybe January, like you said, was as quick as possible. So I don't know, man. Like I said, it just sucks. What am I gonna watch now?
I did want to say, yeah, earlier when you were talking about, we're talking kind of power dynamic between Rhaenyra and Daemon. She does like she needs to let him take the lead on the war side of this stuff, She's not been to war and she doesn't know like what all that entails, so
Right, but again, it's like I think she's trying to keep almost like a leash too, because we know Daemon, dude. If you let him off the leash, he's just gonna go wild, and that's what they dealt with when, he was when he was a golden cloak, whatever that was, night watch, or whatever they were. I mean,
the gold
hell they were.
cloaks. It's the City Watch.
City Watch. There we go. Yeah. That was a big talking point in the first 2 episodes, which is like he's reckless. We put him in all these different situations and he has just screwed it up, So when it comes to war, it's like, if I just let the dog off the leash, man, this could get really bad. And again, I'm trying to think about the future, the prophecies, and just trying to keep peace in general to the realm,
Yeah.
Because I mean, this is a powder keg, bro. I mean, this involves the whole Westeros. It's the whole thing's gonna pop off, and it's not gonna be the same.
Yeah. It made me think, we were watching Goblet of Fire last night, and it made me think of at the end of that where Hermione's like, everything's gonna change now, isn't it? And Harry's just like, yeah, it is.
Yeah, why wouldn't it?
Like, yeah, this is about to get crazy. Like, a war is about to happen.
Oh man.
I did like that little scene where Eric or Arik or who the fuck ever, whichever
the twin, one of the twins,
where he comes in with Viserys's crown. I did think that was cool, like that moment where Daemon's like holding the crown and looking at it and everything, like,
yeah,
what could have been.
Oh, this could have been mine.
Yeah,
he's probably thinking, is it I could kill all these people right now and take this crown.
Just hacks his way through the hole. This makes me think of isn't it Lancelot in is it Lancelot or Galahad in Monty Python Holy Grail? Where he's just like hacking his way through that whole town to like killing everybody.
I forgot about that scene. That was hilarious.
He's like running up the stairs and then like goes back and then like hacks that torch up that's on the wall.
Yeah. Like, oh, that's hilarious. I haven't seen that movie in forever, man. That's a classic.
That is a classic.
But speaking on the twins, they were both on the bridge, weren't they? I think they were the ones looking at each other
on opposite sides.
Yeah. Well, you just really couldn't tell the soldier behind Otto that they showed kind of grabbing his sword and kind of unsheathing a little bit. You can really see a whole lot of them. So
Yeah.
but I assumed that was his twin brother. So
looked like it to me.
yeah.
I was surprised that we didn't see Kristen Cole there. He is Lord Commander of the Kingsguard now, so I'm sure Alicent was like, "No, you need to stay here." Plus, she doesn't want him going and like stirring the pot. Like she wants this resolved peacefully. So,
yep.
All right. Well, I don't know that I had anything else. Did we miss anything? I don't think we missed anything. I think we hit all the major plot points.
Real quick. Rhaenys does say at the very beginning when she tells him, about, Viserys is dead. They named Aegon, king in front of, everybody, and I was there, blah, blah, blah. Daemon says something about, you're still alive. You had the chance to kill them, but you didn't. And we talked about that before in the last episode too. It's kind of like, what the heck? Why didn't you? I mean, you could have ended this whole thing right then and there, But at the same time, she's not on A sides really, and she made the point too of, there is going to be a war, but it's not my job to start that war, And so I thought that was a good way to clean it up.
Yeah, no, she's like, yeah, there's definitely going to be a war to come, and like, I might even be on your side in this, but she's like, this was not my war to start. I was not the heir, like, right. I'm not the person that they slighted over this.
Right. Exactly.
So,
but yeah, I think that was it. That was the last thing I could think of. So.
Okay. I did want to see real quick. So Bloodraven, that we were talking about, he carries Daemon's sword, Dark Sister.
Okay.
And so I did want to see how that passes to him.
Googling. Typing. Now he's searching. Very intense look on his face, people. Google is loading. It's loading.
So Jacaerys carried it first.
Okay.
And then, well, not first. So Visenya, Aegon's sister, carried it first.
Okay.
Then her son, Prince Daemon. No, god damn it. This is not right.
Just start with Jacaerys. I mean, because that's first in the show, at least.
Yeah. So King Jacaerys did have it. He gifted Dark Sister to Daemon for bravery in combat. And then oh my god. I'm just going to the Ice and Fire wiki now. There's too much different fucking shit.
Okay.
So Visenya carries it. And then Maegor carries it. Jaehaerys.
Okay. Yeah, Jaehaerys.
Then Balon Targaryen, who is Balon was Viserys and Daemon's dad. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then Daemon, who's called the Rogue Prince, he was given Dark Sister by Jacaerys. So I guess Jacaerys had it after Balon for a little bit.
He came back, okay.
Prince Aemon the Dragon Knight, who is not Aemond, he's Aemon. So he's going to be somebody's kid. And then after him was Bloodraven, who is Brendan Rivers.
Okay.
Wonder who gave it to him, though.
Me.
Oh, it was given to him by, it had to have been the king before. So was it Aemon? Yeah, full list of known wielders: Visenya, Maegor, Jaehaerys, Balon, Daemon, Aemon, and Brendan Rivers. And then after that, we don't know where it ends up. So we think it might show back up in the books, but
Okay.
yeah, it does disappear for a little bit. I'm excited to see Blackfire too, because in the Blackfire, let's see more of Blackfire anyway. In the Blackfire rebellions, they fight on opposite sides. This guy, Bittersteel, and Brendan Rivers, they're both Targaryen bastards. And Brendan Rivers has Dark Sister. Bittersteel has Blackfire.
Okay.
And so, yeah. God, that's like my favorite area of Targaryen history is, that's what I was telling somebody the other day, is like I blew through the Dance of the Dragons stuff. So a lot of this I don't remember. I was like, I spent so much time focusing like on all the different Blackfire rebellions. They were way more interesting to me. So I don't remember anything from the dance. But I really hope we get a series on at least one of the Blackfire rebellions.
Maybe so, yeah. Maybe so.
Because there's like 6 or 7 of them or some shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you saying that.
All right. You got anything else you want to say about the end of the show here?
No. Like I said, 2 years.
Yeah. We will still put out episodes. Probably won't be weekly right now, but I do want to pull some stuff. I'm going to go back and go through Fire and Blood up until the point we're at now. We probably won't go any further than that because we don't want to do any like spoiler stuff, but just to compare book to show a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
And pull out some differences, and there might be some things that we find that are a little, foreshadowing for later in the show. So we'll do some episodes on that. If you are joining us from one of our other podcasts, such as the Red Right Hand podcast, I'm also currently working on an episode from one of the Peaky Blinder books that they put out. And I think you're working on one for a spinoff, right? Or a movie?
Yeah, possible spinoff.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. The Alfie Solomon story.
The Alfie Solomon story. From a babe to a man.
From babe to man.
The Alfie Solomon story.
From boo to full-blown Jew. Okay, cool. All right, well, if there's nothing else on this one, just make sure you guys are following us on our under our media company branding there. If you just go and you search for Is Survived by Productions, you can find everything. You can find all of our shows there. You can find Throne of the Dragon. You can find The Red Right Hand, and you can find History of the Cores. We've got a bunch of different stuff, Maybe you don't like House of the Dragon. Maybe you're more of a Peaky Blinders guy. We got you covered. Maybe you don't like Peaky Blinders. Maybe you're more of a music guy. We've got you covered.
Maybe you're not a music guy. Maybe you like House of the Dragon. We got Throne of the Dragon. Maybe you don't like it. Oh, wait.
And round it goes. And the more support we can get from you guys, the more we will be able to put out there, not just in these shows, but we've had some ideas for some other shows that we want to put together, just in time. So more support from you guys means more from us. So make sure that you are going over to Spotify and you got a little dragon foot on your shoulder there. Sorry. I got so distracted. I was like, what is happening right there? Coming through you. It's like it's through your shoulder. I kind of got a
green. Yeah, it's kind of a greenish shirt. So
okay.
It's fading in there.
Make sure you guys go over to Spotify and
I'm becoming one with the dragon.
Follow us there and make sure to leave a review on there. We need to get a few more reviews on Spotify before it'll start displaying how many 5-star reviews we've got there.
We got some reviews?
Yep. And
Nice.
then make sure and go over to YouTube. You can follow us at Is Survived by Productions, or just search any one of the three of our podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter at God, I always want to say Red Right Hand PO1.
I almost said it
You
too.
can follow us there. You can follow us
There's
on
nothing
Red Right
over
Hand
there.
PO1. There's nothing there, but you can follow us there. You can also follow me on my personal at Joshua Lynn Gary, or you can follow this show by just searching for Is Survived by Pro over there, or Is Survived by Productions?
Pro.
Okay. Is Survived by Pro on Twitter. I think that was all of them. Did we get
That's
them?
it, man. Yeah, with less than a minute left.
No. Everybody's out to get me. Everybody wants my crown.